Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at starting a World Eaters army in Warhammer 40,000. This video is sponsored by Adeptroll and the Game Bunker. More on those later. Alright, so today we're going to take a look at starting a World Eaters army, the Chosen of KHORNE. When the Space Marine legions fell into bloodshed 10,000 years ago, the sons of the Primarch Angron, already infamous for their brutality, were swiftly drawn into the influence of the dark and terrible powers. Noble warriors gave way to merciless killers, and the galaxy now trembles every time the Chosen of KHORNE carve a charnel path from the Eye of Terror. They are the World Eaters, rage-fueled berserkers infused with the power of the Blood God. Their brutal assaults are the stuff of nightmares, carving the Imperium's defenders into hunks of torn meat with snarling chain axes and demonic claws, driven by an all-consuming urge for slaughter that consumes their every waking moment. Here's everything you need to know if you're thinking about starting an army of the Crimson Killers. World Eaters Explained. As one of the Space Marine legions that turned against the Emperor of Mankind during the apocalyptic Horus heresy, much of the World Eaters' history is similar to their fellow Chaos Space Marines. However, where others have been known for noble service and glorious deeds before their fall, the Sons of Angron always had a reputation for needless brutality even before the rediscovery of their Primarch. The reunion with their Gene Father only enhanced their baser instincts, thanks to a brutal augmentation technique brought from Angron's homeworld of New Syria, known as the Butcher's Nails. These torturous psychosurgical devices were implanted into each warrior's brainstem to send waves of constant agony through their minds and heighten their aggression. Only the sensation released when feeling pure, unadulterated anger would soothe the pain, and so each World Eater would hurl themselves into the melee to receive a momentary respite, or be driven mad by the nails-pounding torment. Ultimately, this unchecked the desire for vicious close combat and would lead all of the 12th Legion into the arms of the blood god KHORNE. And the current wars of Era Indominus allowed their thirst for battle to be slaked on a galactic scale. Unlike many of his brother Primarchs, Angron himself has been active across the Imperium for 10,000 years, allowing burning, ruinous warpath across whatever unfortunate system is attracted to his ire. Turning back the monstrous demon Primarch has always come at a great cost, but with the galaxy now more tumultuous than ever, the devastating wars leaving millions dead on a daily basis, the Red Angel has absorbed power unlike any he has ever held. So great is the madness and slaughter that accompany the World Eaters' campaigns that Khornate demons spring to the warp to fight alongside their mortal allies. Bloodletters slice their prey in two with blazing greatswords as long as a man, while thundering blood crushers and wily fleshhounds charge down fleeing foes of great-winged bloodthirsters reduce the greatest of warriors to gruesome ruin with sweeps of their demonic axes. On the battlefield, the World Eaters play to their murderous strengths and focus all of their inhuman might on slaughtering the enemy in close combat. Waves of crimson-armored berserkers charge mindlessly across the battlefield with roaring chain weapons in hand, driving masses of jackal cultists ahead of them while thundering demon engines stampede over enemy lines with recklessly unleashed fury. There is not a one-note army, however, as Blessings of KHORNE bequeath unpredictable boons upon his favorite warriors, and the constant ebb and flow of battle must be navigated to avoid leaving the World Eaters exposed. Some warbands adopt the mass of transport vehicles to safely convey their Space Marines to the front lines, while others band together with demons to share their strengths and cover their weakness. A World Eaters army will appeal to players who love to bulldoze their opponent in great violent charges, throwing fistfuls of dice and reveling in the slaughter of a friend and foe alike. For KHORNE cares not from whence the blood flows. After all, might makes right in the grim darkness of the 41st millennia, and the champions of KHORNE might just have more of it than anyone else in the galaxy. Adeptroll is a new Mathhammer app for Warhammer 40,000, allowing users to instantly and effortlessly upload unit characteristics from screenshots. You can then use the app to calculate statistical outcomes. With the capability to account for special rules and abilities of attackers and defenders, results can be viewed in graph or tabular form. Let Adeptroll do the Mathhammer while you focus on tactics and victory. With tons of features and customizable settings, Adeptroll is the best pocket companion to give you the edge over the competition. Check out the Adeptroll app using the link in the video description, and your first 7 days are free. Now back to the video. Alright, and then moving on to section 2, we have Combat Patrol. Combat Patrol is a game mode perfect for beginners and veterans alike, in which smaller forces class in a fast-paced, balanced games. The World Eaters cast aside all sense of devious tactics and honorable combat to instead charge their enemy down and tear them apart in melee, throwing crazed killers into the fray around the feet of their towering demonic master. The frenzied Reavers embrace the World Eaters playbook with glee, filling their combat patrol with deadly close combat infantry that swarm over the opponent and bury them in a whirling chain blades. A unit of 10 jackals is the perfect meat shield to soak up enemy fire while the deadlier KHORNE berserkers plunge into the fray, watched over by the sinister character-hunting master of executions. The star of the show is the Demon Prince Warruk, one of the toughest and deadliest units in Combat Patrol. His Hellforged weapons can leave entire squads of lesser foes apart in a single close combat, which coupled with his immense durability makes him the perfect unit for brawling over objectives. All you need to deploy the Frenzied Reavers is a few dice, a ruler, and the downloadable rules below. The core rules show you how to play the game, the Combat Patrol datasheets provide a balanced army that's ready to play, and the Combat Patrol missions give you some thrilling objectives to fight over. Alright, so here we have the brand new Combat Patrol box that is coming out here shortly. 10 jackals, 10 KHORNE berserkers, a master of executions, and a demon prince. Excellent starting force for World Eaters. And next we have painting. The World Eaters are traditionally armored in crimson battle plate trimmed with brass, but are by no means limited to these same few colors, especially where the jackals are concerned. The shining details common across the many KHORNE allied units go great with all sorts of dark and brooding colors such as blacks and deep browns. But if you want to keep your berserkers looking their gore-soaked selves, then there are a wide variety of red shades you can choose from. Your warriors are so concentrated on battle and bloodshed that they're likely to reject cleaning their armor altogether, making this army a great project for weathering techniques. To help ease your miniatures into the battlefield with a simple, achievable color scheme that works across a wide variety of units, the Warhammer 40,000 painting team have put together a list of paints for the World Eaters found in the Combat Patrol box. Alright, so here we can see a couple of example models, and then we have a recommended paint list. So Mephiston in red, Nuln Oil, Abaddon black, and Mechanicum standard gray. And then we have Ruin Lord brass, shaded with Reichen flesh shade, Stormhole silver, and Lead Belcher highlights. And then we have Wraithbone, Catachin flesh, Sybarite green, and Astro granite. So pretty much everything you need to get your guys on the tabletop and looking good. This is by no means an exhaustive primer, however, and you're fairly encouraged to come up with your own World Eaters color schemes. Your warband may hark back to the blue and white armor of the Great Crusade era, while those wholly devoted to KHORNE even coat themselves fully in brass and gold. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, Game Bunker. Game Bunker carries a full range of Games Workshop products including miniatures, terrain, paint, tools, and more. Game Bunker offers 15% off MSRP for most Games Workshop products with the discount code WHMS. Receive free shipping in the continental United States on orders over $145. Online orders ship out within 24 hours. Game Bunker is a veteran-owned business. Use affiliate link below, enter discount code WHMS to save 15% on most items at checkout. For fast, friendly service with a discount on your favorite tabletop wargaming purchases, visit GameBunker.net and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. Alright, and then we have 4 next steps. Once you have a few Combat Patrol games under your belt and you're ready to up your tally of skulls for the Skull Throne, you might be wondering where to go next. Your first stop is Codex World Eaters, the essential companion to the faction, containing plenty of background lore and showcase of gorgeously painted miniatures, as well as rules for 30 different units and plenty of different ways to play them. Together with a copy of the Warhammer 40,000 core book, you'll have all the rules you need to start playing full-size games of Warhammer 40,000. I also really like the datasheet cards, and then it's notable that you do get the code for the Warhammer app inside the Codex as well, so it's definitely worth picking up. The Combat Patrol provides a great selection of core infantry units for the basis of a larger army, so adding a more elite contingent is a great first step. 8-bound are the champions of the World Eaters, who have accepted 8, the sacred number of KHORNE demons, into their souls and subjugated them with brute force, transforming them into hulking monstrosities, rippling an Empyrean strength and immense durability. So definitely 8-bound, which can also be built into Exalted 8-bound, a very nice unit to add to your force. The armies of the World Eaters live and die on their infantry. So adding more KHORNE Berserkers is never a bad idea, with the power armor and chain weapons make them your premier frontline unit. The Codex also includes rules that you can add KHORNE demons to your army. No Chaos Legion is quite complete without the Primarch, however, and the Mountain of Muscle and Murderous Rage known as Angron does not disappoint. His incredible show-stopping miniature is a perfect centerpiece for your army, while his skills on the battlefield are more akin to a raging whirlwind of blades and blood that cleaves anything from swarms of lowly soldiers to great war machines in twain. So I'm a huge fan of Angron, awesome lore, beautiful model, excellent in-game terms, definitely the perfect centerpiece unit. Lord Invocatus is a raider without compare amongst the fellow World Eaters, specializing in lightning strikes and delivering whole units of warriors deep into the enemy's rear. A real nightmare for an opponent who thinks their vulnerable units safe. When raw power is at demand though, nothing crushes your opponent's will quite like the awesome presence of a Lord of Skulls, a titanic engine of destruction, bristling with weapons that lay waste to entire armies on their own. So yeah, Lord Invocatus, very good special character. KHORNE the Betrayer as well. And then of course the Lord of Skulls if you're looking for a giant demon engine. And then if you're looking for a little bit of fiction, get your read on. The tales of their most legendary characters make for a compelling read. There are deep motivations beneath their brassy mass. Find out what happened when Angron himself returned to the galaxy in Angron the Red Angel by David Geimer, which follows the fates of 3 separate characters who react to the momentous event in extremely different ways. Though he is now both the most beloved and reveled figure amongst the World Eaters, KHORNE the Betrayer had a rocky relationship with his brothers in the wake of the Horus Heresy, and you can read all about it in The Rise of Prominence in KHORNE, Eater of Worlds by Anthony Reynolds. Join him for an episodic journey through the madness of Abaddon's 13th Black Crusade in The Red Path by Chris Dowles, a collection of serialized tales that see KHORNE's madness put to use by the War Master of Chaos. So very cool, a nice little surface level intro to World Eaters. We got a bunch of brand new stuff coming out this week. Super excited for the new Codex, the new launch box, and then also the Combat Patrol. I am really looking forward to the rules, getting some work done on my own World Eaters army, and definitely putting these bad boys on the tabletop. So let me know what you think of the World Eaters. Are you going to be jumping in on them, expanding your existing army, or just reading into some of the lore? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And special thanks to Adept Roll for sponsoring the video. Check out the link in the description for your 7-day free trial to the Math Hammer app. And as always, special thanks to the Game Bunker for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products with code WHMS at checkout. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.